What's up, guys? I'm going to break down exactly how my client Steve was able to lose 20 pounds of pure fat in only 16 weeks without doing extreme amounts of cardio and crash dieting in only 4 steps. And if you do these 4 steps and you do them right and you do them consistently, you could lose 20 pounds of fat just like Steve. Despite working a lot of hours in your sales career or your business career, not having a lot of time to work out in the gym or just traveling or being on the go a lot or always having an ever changing schedule. And for some of you who are maybe new to my world or maybe don't know who I am, my name is Tyler Jones and I was a sports sales exec for about a year in the NFL. And when it comes to Steve, guys, health and fitness was like second nature to him. He had done track, done sports his whole life, went to Division III school and was a star track athlete there, where he competed in track and field year round. So eating good food, being on his nutrition, working out, always moving his body was second nature to him, and he never had to worry about it. He was like pretty much a veteran, in the world of health and fitness. And it wasn't until his, track ended, he graduated from college, and he pursued a career in business that his whole world just flipped upside down. And he took the same mentality that he had in his, his athletic career and put it towards his business career of that all or nothing mentality, that he had to get his career to a certain place and had to put all his time and energy into it until it got to that place, and everything else was on the back burner. Pretty sure some of you guys can relate to that out there. I know I can. And by doing this and kind of putting his health and fitness on the back burner, before he knew it, he was 20 pounds overweight of just pure fat, super stressed out, and just super stretched thin because he was putting in 60, 70, even sometimes 80 to 90 hours a week into his career, and only that. So he barely had any time and energy left for himself and his personal goals and what he wanted to do with his life. And when he was looking at old pictures, just seeing how he was as an athlete compared to where he was, in the present, he was just super disappointed and just shocked. I remember him telling me he would always ask himself, like, what happened to me? And this kind of that lifestyle, that pattern of just overworking himself, being stuck in his career and just being super unhappy with his body and being super unhealthy lasted for about 2 years. And he just felt stuck and just was stuck in this all or nothing mentality and just couldn't see a way out. And I'll never forget the day. It was like yesterday when he first reached out and we connected, and I got to hear a little bit more about his story. And then he eventually took that leap of faith, and then we got started. And I'm going to break down exactly the 4 steps that were able to help him and that have also helped a lot of my other clients, and some of the steps and the systems that we implement with them as well. So pay close attention if you want to shed body fat without doing endless amounts of cardio and crash dieting. So number 1, the first step we did is get him dialed in on a progressive weight lifting routine. So the biggest mistake I see most people make, and I've made, and also Steve has made, is when they get back into exercising, the first thing they do is just do cardio. They only do cardio, or they do extreme, routines like 75 hard, right? And the reason why is if you want to lose, body fat sustainably, but also have a toned, a defined physique as well with shedding body fat, then doing just cardio is flat out wrong. It is flat out wrong, and you got to do a different way, especially when it comes to hitting the weights. Because, guys, at the end of the day, cardio burns calories versus weight training burns body fat and gets you the physique that you want. And I know for me, when I started getting back on my journey, when I was losing 30 pounds as well in about 3 to 4 months, I started just doing cardio as much as I possibly could, fell back on what I've known as a former athlete in soccer and basketball, and just run myself into the ground, right? And the biggest thing, again, most people see when they do this is A, it's not sustainable. Two, it's boring, right? Just sticking on a treadmill or running all the time. And three, they end up having a lot of loose skin at the end of it all, because that's what doing excessive amounts of cardio does, or just cardio. You also, yes, you lose weight, but you also burn muscle as well as a result of it, because you're not strength training. So your body has no reason to keep the muscle because you're not using it. You're just burning it. You're not training to keep it. So what we did with Steve is we dialed in on a progressive weight lifting routine where we had him do 3 full body days per week, which is only about 3 days of full body. And he only spent 30 to 35 minutes in the gym for each lift. And another big mistake people make is when they start to do weight training is they try to go 5, 6, 7 days a week, or do 2 a days like 75 hard. And that is also not sustainable if you want to lose fat sustainably and build your physique in a way that it's everlasting. So when it comes to the full body workouts, we had labeled them out together as doing compound lifts. So his bench press, his squat, and his deadlift, one on each day. So that was his main compound movement, partied with like another one. So with his first 1 to 2 exercises were main compound lifts, and then his next 3 to 4 exercises were accessory lifts. So things that worked other smaller muscle groups, things he could superset with other exercises, so that would cut his time down in the gym, and he could be in and out. And with the 3 full body days, he was able to work multiple muscle groups every single week, multiple times. So that also helped facilitate and make his muscle gains come a lot quicker. So we did that 3 full body days paired with compound lifts for only 30 to 35 minutes. And that was step 1. And step 2 is we dialed in on his calories and his nutrition. So again, another mistake that I see most people make when it comes to losing fat, and again, I made this mistake as well, is along with like doing just cardio, excessive amounts of cardio, just doing it multiple days a week, or going for runs and not strength training, is they eat very little. They eat very little calories and they're not fueling their body, right? So think of it like this. If you have a bank account, right, and you're always spending more money than you're bringing in, eventually you're going to go broke, right? That's just normally what happens. The same thing happens with your body. If you're always doing high amounts of cardio or just cardio and not strength training, and you're also not fueling your body properly, eventually your body's going to slow down. Your metabolism is going to slow down, because that, and also make it very hard to burn fat, because again, you're expecting the body to overachieve and overproduce while giving yourself, replenishing it super little. And that's what happens when you do a lot of cardio and you eat very little, is your metabolism gets messed up. And it actually slows down. So like all the running, all the walking, all the things that you do, your body starts to burn less calories with it. And that's because to optimize the metabolism, you need more muscle versus body fat. And when you do just cardio and you don't strength train and you eat very little, you actually end up with higher amounts of body fat versus muscle, because when you did the cardio, your body burned it along with calories because it didn't need it anymore. So now your body's going to have a slow metabolism because it has no muscle, right? And at the same time, not eating high amounts of protein, and protein, there's no way for your body to preserve that muscle anyways. So again, that's one of the biggest mistakes I see people make, is work hard and eat very little. So for Steve, we dialed in on his exact calories based off of his height, his weight, his activity level, and his lifestyle, which I do with all of my clients, and gave him the exact calorie count he needed to shed body fat, but also to maintain the muscle he had and continuously build it. So that way, as he was shedding body fat, he was keeping the muscle he had and building. So that way his physique was shedding body fat in the right places, but he was also gaining muscle in the right places as well, kind of giving him that shred look, which is what we want in the end. We don't want a lot of loose skin. So again, step number 1 is the progressive weight lifting routine. Number 2 is dialing in his calories and his protein intake and making sure we're hitting those. And the second thing also with that, guys, the more active he was, obviously the more he was able to eat, because his body was burning more calories. So that was the win-win in it all. So step 3 is dialing in on his sleep. So the biggest mistake I made, and I see most people make in hustle culture and sales, to work in sales or just business as a whole, is they sacrifice their sleep because they're always stuck on the grind or feeling like they need to keep doing more and more. That David Goggins mentality of stay hard, right? But when you're trying to shed body fat, sleep is one of the most important things that you can have. Again, it's like, imagine if you're working out all the time and then you never could sleep, or you're working at your job and you never could sleep. Eventually you would burn out. It's like impossible before you go insane. And during sleep, that's actually where the body recovers. That's where, you work hard, you play hard in the gym, you weight lift, and your muscles tear apart. And then during sleep, that's where your muscles rebuild, and that's where they come back stronger and bigger than ever. And if your body can't get sleep, then it can't do that. You can't get that toned physique, and you can't shed body fat sustainably without, again, the recovery part of what it means, the recovery part of a health and fitness lifestyle. You got to get your sleep. And during that sleep, you actually burn calories. So if for every hour of sleep you get, you burn about 50 calories. So that's another 350 to 450 calories if you aim for the average of 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, just for sleeping. So that way you don't need to sit on the treadmill for 30, 40 minutes at a time to burn all these excess calories, because you can do it in your sleep. So we dialed in on his sleep, got about 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. And if he struggled with it, he had a list of supplements that he could take to help him kind of doze off and get more sleep. Things like magnesium, ashwagandha, melatonin, glycine. There's a bunch out there, but those are a list of supplements that I've shared with my clients, all of them, that help them get more sleep, because it's not always easy to turn your brain off when you're working in sales or in the business world. And then number 4 is his cardio, but we focused on walking for his cardio. So again, the biggest mistake most people make is when they're doing cardio. Again, they think cardio is going to the gym and doing the Stairmaster for 30 to 45 minutes, or staying on the treadmill on an incline for 30 minutes and doing that 4 to 5 days a week. And I know that sounds super boring. And if it's super boring for you out there, then it's not going to be sustainable for you long term. And that is why we focused on walking for Steve, because he was an athlete and the last thing he wanted to do was spend hours in the gym just doing cardio, right? So we focused on just walking and hitting about 7,000 to 8,000 steps per day, right? And for every 2,000 steps, you burn about 100 calories. So if you hit 10K steps in the end, that's about 500 calories. And we worked our way up from 7,000 to 8,000 steps per day up to 10,000 to 12,000 steps per day. And again, that's another mistake people, why they choose to crash diet or eat super low calorie, is because they're not moving throughout their day. But so if you just increase your activity level just by walking and staying active, you can eat a little bit more calories, right? So we focused on that. He would get his walks, whether he was in the office, on calls, in business meetings, or just working. He would just stay active as much as he possibly can throughout his day, and sometimes even go for walks on his lunch or go for walks at the end of the day for about 20 to 30 minutes. So that's how he really dialed in on his cardio, kept his heart health going, and could do it in a low impact way where he didn't have to kind of stress himself going to the gym all the time. He could just do it on his walks. And guys, those are the 4 steps that Steve implemented, and I implement with most of my clients in order for them to shed pure fat and build muscle, and obviously doing without doing endless amounts of cardio, and kind of build their physique in a way that they're super confident in the end, and they get the 6-pack, or they get the definition, along with shedding the body fat as well, and just having a healthy lifestyle overall. So again, if you implement those 4 steps, you will see the similar success as Steve. And for some of you guys who maybe didn't see, if you want my exact workout routine, my 3-day workout routine that I did in order to lose 30 to 40 pounds during my time in sports sales, just comment below on this video, workout routine, or click the links in the bio to go to my LinkedIn or my Instagram and just shoot me workout routine, and I can drop that ebook over to you. So that way you can start spending as little time, no more than 2 hours in the gym every week, but also starting to see your fat loss goals go through the roof, and also building muscle. So guys, just make sure to reach out if you want that ebook. And again, as always, super hyped to bring you guys more value in the coming weeks and the coming months. And I hope this was super helpful for you guys, and I will talk to you soon, family. Peace, love, and happiness, and have a great day.